Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Here this lovely Saturday morning, some big surf rolling in here. That's because we've got some wind offshore. In fact, a windy weather forecast for our Rockfish opener. We'll cover that. Some big halibut on the native sun out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California yesterday. We're going to be watching what's going on in Mexico. And can you ID the fish that is on this morning's thumbnail? Do you know what that is? I'll have that and so much more. Let me get set up and we'll get into the MB coming at you next. Before we get started on today's morning briefing, don't forget, if you're headed to Ensenada, you're going to want to give Zeke Casas a call. Only 15 minutes from downtown, but just check out that spectacular view while in Ensenada, Baja California Norte. And if that garage door is giving you a problem, then you're going to want to call your garage door man. That's Joe Welker. Tax problems? Nobody better than our friend Tim Marquez. Tim's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give the tax man a call today. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, you're going to want to talk to our dear friend John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. Yeah, big surf indeed. Welcome to Surfside. It's great to be with you. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, is that good? Man, what a beautiful morning. Not that cold, and there certainly is not much wind here along the coast. But man, up in the Channel Islands, it is nasty here this morning. Even out toward Catalina Island, it's not looking all that great. And we'll have to watch the weather very closely. While the Rockfish opener on April 1st here in Southern California is still a ways out there, the forecast is not great. Those change, and we'll watch it for you closely and keep you in touch with the latest. If you're on our April 4th trip, that day looks halfway decent, but remember to make sure you are checking here on the morning briefing. See if we have any plans to postpone that trip or change it up. You never know with this windy weather forecast. And again, April 4th is out there quite a ways, but I want you to keep that in mind. Hit that like button, share these videos everywhere, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. Also, you can follow us over there on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Beautiful morning here. A little bit foggy as I look down toward Newport Beach, also over there toward Long Beach. It even looks like there's a slight chance of rain, but it's all this wind that really is creating these big sets rolling in here this morning on this beautiful morning. Breaking news for those of you who sometimes attend Tackle Shop Confessions at Sam De La Torre's place in Carson, California. This Monday, he swears on his life. Scott Buchert says he will be there. He will be bringing some food. He asks others to contribute some food. It's a potluck celebration at Island Fishing Tackle on Monday. We'd love you to be there. And of course, Scott says if he has time, he will sign some autographs. So of course, we will be excited about that. Scott Buchert, Monday on Tackle Shop Confessions. Of course, earlier that day, live from 22nd Street Landing, the Danny Cadota Show. All right, let's get into it with you all. Let's start out with that fish on the thumbnail. You see them in Baja California a lot. That is a fish that was taken out of Tail Hunter International in beautiful La Paz, Baja California. Jill and, of course, Jonathan Roldan run that place, and they do such a great job. That's Captain Pancho and Gerardo. They went out to Saravo Island, and they caught that milkfish on a sardine. Now, that's kind of rare. In fact, Jonathan, in several decades of fishing down there in La Paz, says he's only seen 3 caught. Only 3 because they're herbivores. They don't even eat meat or sardines. The exact opposite of what I am, the carnivore. They are herbivores, eating plankton and things like that. So an unusual catch. They're supposed to be pretty good eating, and that is what is on our thumbnail this morning. All right, still have that line of yellowtail up and down the Baja coast there in La Paz and Cabo San Lucas. We are dealing with wind down there, so it's, maybe every week we get out 2-3 times. Getting a little better. The water's starting to warm up. There are some yellowfin tuna outside of Cabo San Lucas, but mostly we are picking away at inshore stuff. A little bit bigger roosterfish now, but mostly small. There's some sierras. We see a lot of other species wandering around there also, so hopefully that is going to continue to head in the right direction. We're certainly watching that very, very closely. We have yellows down there in San Quintin, Baja California, as well as up there in Ensenada. Ensenada has been very hit and miss on the yellowtail here recently. I was just down there with my co-host Paulina, and am releasing this morning, right now, a little video we shot at Playa Saldamondo. As you drive up to Ensenada, just short of there, there's a hidden Baja gem, and it's called Playa Saldamondo, and I know you're gonna love it. You gotta check it out. Check that video out. Anthony and I walked all over the place and gave you a really good idea of what you can expect at Playa Saldamondo. All right, so that line of yellowtail that extends up there to Ensenada, sometimes it bites, sometimes it doesn't, has us excited here in Southern California. The San Diego out of Seaforth Sport Fishing has looked at the Coronado Islands, and they've picked off the occasional yellowtail there. We've got our fingers crossed and high hopes that it's going to bite. We've seen fish on the dropper loop sardine rig. We've seen fish on the yo-yo iron, a heavier jig that you sink deep and wind on fast, and we've seen some yellowtail on the surface iron. However, mostly rockfish in this La Nina year. I say that because La Ninas produce mostly cold water, and we are certainly seeing exactly that this year along the Southern California coast. We're seeing a lot of cold water, which is great for rockfish. It's good for sea bass and halibut once we get the water temp up to about 60 degrees for the sea bass at least. That's when you'll see a little bit more consistent bite, and you get up around 65, 66 degrees, and that's when you really see it turn on. But sometimes during these La Nina years, things are slow to start. We've seen a lot of anchovy around. Perhaps you saw the evening briefing last night. Bert Carlson, great guy, great Freedman Adventures family member, was over in Alamitos Bay, which is right down the street from here, and he said, I've been coming here for years and have never seen so many anchovy inside. There are so many, he said, that it is mind-boggling. So all that anchovy in there, we see anchovy down there near San Diego. We've got it up and down the coast, up in the Channel Islands. San Pedro has had quite a bit of that also. So really good stuff going on right now in terms of the chovy. And of course, that makes a lot of people think about albacore, because it seems like that cycle is back. And we're prejudging this, but it seems like this cycle where you have a lot of anchovy around, and those are the years when we caught albacore. We caught a lot more barracuda and sand bass. Seems like that cycle could be reoccurring right now. Only time will tell on that. And of course, we'll continue to watch it for you all very, very closely. Up and down the Southern California coast, we continue to see some really excellent fishing on sculpin and whitefish. But yesterday, it was pretty windy and there was a big swell. The Monte Carlo out of 22nd Street Landing had to stay close and fish along the beach, closer to the beach, let's put it that way. So they couldn't get out to the more prolific zones where they catch limits of sculpin on a really regular basis. It's no problem at all to do that. But we did see some nice halibut fishing going on the native sun. Probably the best day they've had in a while. They had halibut to 25 pounds. Aaron Graham doing his thing on the native sun. They had 6 total fish, lost a few to go along with it. Again, maintaining contact with the bottom when you're fishing for halibut is so important. When you've got wind and seas like this, you're definitely going to want to make sure you're fishing appropriate weight. Sometimes that could be as heavy as a 16-ounce torpedo sinker, 12-ounce, 10-ounce. You just want to make sure you're maintaining contact with the bottom and you're choosing a smoking hot bait, as Cliff Hughes likes to say. That makes all the difference in the world. Seems like a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader has been best of all. Nice day on the native sun. Happy to see that. San Diego, a little bit of sand bass down that way. Those are not migratory fish. That is going to occur, if it does, in June, July. We do see a lot of sand bass about 60 miles south of the border, down below Ensenada. And even in Ensenada, there's quite a bit of sand bass. Now, is that just wintertime holdovers, or is that the migratory fish that eventually move up here? It's been a long time since we've seen really consistent, great sand bass fishing. But again, with all this trophy around, that I think is a big possibility for this year, including barracuda mixed up with it. You know, like the old days, like we used to see here in Southern California. So for right now, sculpin, whitefish, sheephead, but the weather is going to play a very important role here in the coming days. As I look at April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, it looks very windy in the forecast right now, but those forecasts change, and that's why God created the morning and evening briefings, so I can keep you in touch with all the very latest regarding all of that. Don't forget, we've got that great 5-day trip coming up on the Independence, April 21st through the 26th. Man, I'm hoping we zoom on down to that 300-mile area, and my fingers are crossed that bluefin is waiting for us. Maybe a little bit south of there, some good yellowtail and yellowfin tuna fishing. That's going to be a great one. Call the Independence officer. Check them out at www.independencesportfishing.com. And don't forget, the El Patron Long Beach Sport Fishing. New engines in the rig. She's getting ready to provide you with some great adventures this year out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. The El Patron goes to Catalina Island. Great boat, great crew, great food. I don't know how you can beat the El Patron. www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Won't be long until she is back on the run again, and that is going to be fantastic. All right, my friends, in the Southern California surf, fishing this today is possible. It can be very treacherous, however. You know, you look over there at the jetty, and I can see, I hope you can too, waves are crashing up on that jetty. That is not anywhere you want to be fishing on a day like this. Jetties are very dangerous with this big surf that's rolling in, so be careful. And same thing can happen here, as you well know, watching the morning briefing. You can get wiped out by a big wave if you're not careful. So fishing this is possible, like making a cast right there and coming through there. You are likely to catch a yellowfin croaker if they are around, maybe even a halibut on a day like this. It's really not that bad, especially if you wait your chance and make your cast in between the waves breaking on the beach. So once again, that looks pretty darn good to me. We just need it to calm down a little bit more. Again, fishing bait is the best way you can get a bite in the Southern California surf in the wintertime and as you move into the spring. And I'm talking about numbers of fish, so maybe a lot of smaller perch, even a few bigger ones in Southern California. Throwing a lure is going to result in less fish, lucky craft, chrome crocodile, generally speaking, during this time of the year. You can have a great day on that stuff, but it's going to produce a bigger fish, you know, a legal halibut, a big yellowfin croaker. So keep that in mind. We move into the Grunion run here this weekend, and it's the last time you're able to keep Grunion for a few months. So if you're planning on getting your little supply of Grunion to freeze and use for bait on future trips, now is the time to do it, no doubt about that. And fishing at night during the Grunion runs, if we don't have a lot of wind, is also very productive and very, very good. Once again, remember, you need a fishing license if you're 16 and over to gather Grunion and keep them. I think the limit is 30, 35. One of those two numbers, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to mislead you. We can look it up, or I can drop a comment down below here in a second, or you can drop a comment if you have the answer to that. And again, you're only allowed to keep that certain quantity of those Grunion. They are spectacular for bait and work really well. Don't forget about Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. They give away a brand new custom surf fishing rod every single month. All you have to do is go in there and buy the ruler that they have, and then measure your catch, take a photo and or video and upload it to the Big Fish Bait and Tackle Instagram page. And every month they're giving that away. It can't get any better than that. Big Fish Bait and Tackle, corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. All right, my friends, wishing you a lovely Saturday. It truly is a beautiful morning as that sun is just starting to peek out behind me there. It's absolutely gorgeous here this morning, and that ocean really doesn't look that bad. We don't have much wind here along the coast, but as I mentioned, there's a lot of wind in some other areas. All right, my friends, have a great day and a wonderful Saturday, a beautiful weekend, and as always, I hope to see you really, really soon.